I hope you can see me and you can see me on video. Happy holidays. Last week we talked about having teaching with holiday apps. We talked about how to teach Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and also Christmas and Diwali, and some great resources and websites and apps for that. So you can find all of those by going to the recordings. You can always go to shellytalk.com webinars and you'll access all of our free recordings. We also have thanks to American TESOL, this is free every Friday. But in addition, if you are an American TESOL student, for free, you get a certificate and you get to join our upcoming Teaching with Technology course. These will be part of it, but you'll get assignments. And then on top of that, you'll get American TESOL certification. And those are recognized at master's institutions and things like that. And it's free if you happen to be one of the American TESOL students. And if not, well, you still get to enjoy us every Friday for these webinars. So that's always nice. And you do get a certificate of attendance. So feel free to go to shellyterrell.com webinars and you'll be able to see where you can get the bookmarks and also access the links and the slides. You can download them. So for the holidays, one of the great ways to teach is with music, because there's a lot of holiday music out there. It's a great way to teach about culture. It's a great way to teach grammar, English. It's a great way to teach math. Because math and science, because you can take the different types of sounds and you have to put them together, and choreography and all of that does take math and science to do that. It's a great way to teach history because music was very, very important in history. So I'm going to give you a few ideas on how you can teach with these. And then you can go ahead and you can decide for yourselves what goes well for your students and for what age group. So one of the ways that is really popular, especially I've seen with language teachers, is to make a lip dub. And so I don't know if any of you are familiar with lip dubs, but lip dubs, the reason why it's good to teach lip dubs, especially if you're English language learners, well, there's a lot of schools that do this anyway. They do it because they can build community and they can get the school together. But there's a lot of things your students have to do, like they have to set up the scene and make it visually pleasing. But they have to learn their lyrics really well, because to make a good lip dub, a lip dub is when you have a song and you are doing a very popular song. So you could do, for example, the 12 Days of Christmas, and that would be very, very easy to do. Or Deck the Halls, and you can walk in your school and you can easily deck the halls, but they're lip singing. And when you lip sync, that means you have to do really well with actually having your lips make the movements of the word. So for language learners, it's particularly a good practice, because that's one area that a lot of language learners struggle with, is pronunciation and enunciation. So with the lip dub, they're able to go and they're really able to study their mouths. And so it's a good opportunity to do that, because a lot of times we don't focus on that or teach them that. Plus, it's fun. They get to listen to the sound lyrics, and while they're making their videos, they can work in groups of 3 or 4. They can work as a class, and they can each take a scene. So even if you have them in pairs and they're talking, they're planning that scene for their particular lyrics. So you can cut up the lyrics in maybe like 4s, or you can cut it up in verses if you want to do it that way, and somebody take the chorus or the repetition part. And the students can study what it is. They can even study the past videos of it. One of the things you can do is modernize that. You can make it like a current. You can tell your students, okay, and that's one of the things I do with my students. I say, okay, we're going to make a modern video to bring this beautiful holiday music back together. And it's something that you can share with parents. Now, if they are doing a lip dub, it's important that you get permission, that they can show themselves, because that's part of the process. It's a great way to also introduce your school to students. So if you have new students coming in January or for even the next year, then it's a fun way to show a lip dub so they can see the different places of the school, I think. It's a great way. If you have this video, they tend to go viral. So if you have a language institution or you're teaching something, let's say that you want to promote or market your English lessons or anything, then if you have a lip dub, then it's a great kind of marketing thing that you have there. There's a lot of lip dubs that I've participated in where people have asked me. Josh Stumpenhorst did one where it was for PLNs, and it was personal learning networks, and he got a bunch of us together, and it was like, you have a friend in me. And so I remember it's me and Roscoe, and we're in the video, and we're just like singing together this lip dub. So there's a lot of ways you can even do it online to make a lip dub. And I know when we did the ELT MOOC, which is free MOOC with Jason, I had everyone get together and make a lip dub for this ELT MOOC. So it can be a lot of fun. If not, you can just make a music video, and there's lots of links that you'll find inside, and I'll put the listly again. You can always add your own links to that. So if you know of any lip dubs or anything that I forgot, no, it's 55 links or so. Keep going and you might find some. And remember, we're not going to cover everything here, but definitely you can go later and you can browse through what's sure to be 100 soon, listening tools and music making tools and songs and lyrics, and you'll be able to see a lot of great resources in that. But your students can make a music video. And when they make a music video, one of the things they can do is they can modernize the lyrics to a song. So let's say that you are teaching the holidays and you're teaching, for example, the 12 days of Christmas. Well, the problem with the 12 days of Christmas, and when they go through it, they're going to have to look at the lyrics and try to understand it. Like a partridge and a pear tree. Well, who gets partridges anymore and who gets pear trees? So your students, it is a good job. Or, for example, jingle bells. Well, you know, still you can jingle bells, but dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, well, that doesn't really happen so much anymore. So you can ask your students, you know, how can we make this cool? How can we modernize it? Because there's a lot of traditions and holiday, or how can we make it funny? There's a lot of different versions of, for example, there's the grandma got run over by a reindeer. So there's funny kind of parodies, and all of that teaches English. It gets them to look at different lyrics and to really try and understand what the vocabulary is. But then to go back and when they make a music video, they have to go with the timing. So you can teach timing. They also have to go with the scenery, like how they make the music. They have to learn skills like video editing. And there are some free great tools that will allow for this. Now, one of them that I didn't put up here was WeVideo. WeVideo is a way to get a bunch of students to put a video together, and then they can edit that project online. It works on your Android, your iOS, it works on an iPad, it works on your computer. So WeVideo is one way to make that music video. Now, sometimes, and of course, I put here modernize the song lyrics. What are some other great ones? Well, one of the best ones out there that's recently been out for a while, actually, and it's one of the great apps that you probably don't know about, but it's totally cool and awesome, and you should try it. And it has a green screen. So here's the problem. The problem is that when you do make a music video and you're trying to superimpose like an image behind, what are you going to do? Like this image, let's say that I was the weather person and I wanted a point and I wanted a map, right? Well, I could do that if I did TouchCast, because TouchCast gives you a free green screen. But not only does it give you a free green screen, it also makes it to where it's interactive and touchable. So like I could point here and there could be lyrics coming out, or big like effects. And then you could click in and you can find out more information. It's really awesome. It's one of the best tools out there. And it's fantastic for the idea of making, if you want to make an actual music video. So you can add visual filters, you can put sound effects, you can make your self look very funny, and cool. So there's different things that you can do with that as well. It has a built-in teleprompter. How cool is that? So you can put the lyrics on there too and really make it to where, and then you can even add links to where it's the original, back to the original video. And that's something that you want to check as well. So when you are modernizing the lyrics to a song, you can't just take the background of that song. You have to give appropriate credit. A lot of times you can find places, and I'll share with you, but one of the places you can find a lot of things is if you go to CC, and that's in the links as well, but CC Mixter is my favorite place to do this, ccmixter.org. But a lot of times what happens is that your students can actually go, and your students can, you can take a pair and you can ask them, you can say, you know, do we have any DJs in house? Do we have anyone who wants to work on actually making the remix and the background to make our song background a little modern, more hype? Maybe they add beats and dubstep, you know, or maybe they make it to where it's that way they can change it up so you don't run into problems with Creative Commons. Another really good app for this that has a green screen as well, and there's quite a few, but the reason I didn't put all of them there because not all of them are particularly free. So one of them is called Video Star. Now the great thing about TouchCast is that TouchCast comes out on everything, but Video Star is only for your iOS devices. So you make it, and that's the great thing about it is when I work with students, and you saw a picture earlier of me working with, having my students, those were students in Slovenia, and they were actually going out, they were I put them in small groups of 3 and 4, and they had to create a video. Now the video wasn't a music video, but cellular data is off, okay. So what happened was that the students, they got to actually work together, and they loved it. And we did that in a 45-minute lesson, but they got to use their devices at least. And it wasn't that my classes ever have devices, but we allowed them to bring their own devices, and we allowed each group had at least one person that had a device. So and it wasn't necessarily actually iPhone or anything like that. It was whatever they had. And the great thing is that you can make a video with, of course, you can make a video or a music video with any device. You don't need an Android or a smartphone. You just need a cell phone that records video. And so if you can do that, and then you can superimpose the music later, because they can either send it to you via Bluetooth. So if you don't have an internet connection, they can do it via Bluetooth. And actually, if you have an Android and you have a PC computer, it's much easier to go to the Bluetooth options and have your students send them that way. So that's a little trick that we learned. Now, another trick is you don't want to necessarily, sometimes you want to make them do different parts. So if you do have one particular song you're doing, you can have it 30 seconds each part. And you might say, well, Shelly, why would we do that? Well, one of the reasons why is because if you have too much going on, it's going to take a while for your students to send that somewhere. So your students need to send that video to you, and if they don't have the right connection, and I don't see where my connection is, but usually you have something like a USB cord, okay? So you have this USB cord, and then you can add it that way. So if you can have that for their devices, so they can easily do that on your computer and add it that way. That's the quickest way to do it, especially if you have with a lot of files. And I always get one person, that's their role. Their role is to upload the video. So when we're continuing the lesson, there's only one person, and they stand in line and they're quiet, and they upload it really fast, and then they go. And they have to have it for their particular phone to go onto your phone. Now, if you have something, you might need iTunes and things like that if you have certain devices, so you have to keep that in mind too. So those are ways to do it and collect the work, to collect those videos. But if you have it all on bandwidth and you're uploading 5 minutes and it's 80 groups, then it's never going to happen because that's too much bandwidth. Another really cool video. So there's so many great iOS apps out there, and I have tons and tons bookmarked as well. And it's hard not to say, but remember, TouchCast works for anything. You could even use something like EduCreations. It makes a 9-minute video. So, I mean, most songs are less than 9 minutes. They're like 5 minutes. So it has editing tools. So EduCreations would be great. WeVideo, TouchCast, they work for anything. YouTube Capture, so you can actually take a video and you can upload it to YouTube, and YouTube has some fantastic video editing tools as well. You can use something like Popcorn Mix. So all of those are great. But if you want to make something that looks super cool and has effects and everything like that, like slow motion or fast forward or motion and filters and text, then you can have that with Game Your Video. So iOS apps have some really awesome ones that really make your music videos. They make it very easy. So if you do have access to that, those will be a lot of fun to do. And of course, if you have a teacher account with Animoto, or if you have a Magisto account, or if you have Videolicious, those are all very good video making tools as well. So they can make holiday messages that have songs in them. They can have where they have a holiday video and then they have background music that makes it very pretty. They can make picture slideshows where there's different images and music that goes with them too. They can make, I have them make trailers. My students actually will make trailers. They did that right now. They just storyboard a movie that they would have, and it could be a holiday movie. You can have them say, well, you know, we want to have a movie producing studios coming out, and they need the next holiday blockbuster or the next summer blockbuster. Go ahead, storyboard, and I have them do 6 scenes of what this this movie is, and then they have to put the music score behind it and everything like that. And then the next step of that project is they make a trailer of that movie. So it's just saying like who's coming out in the previews. And the reason they do the trailer is because to make the movie would take way too long. So with Animoto, they really enjoy doing that. And if you want to see actually my students' work doing that, you can see it right now. Let me go ahead and find, we have it all on Pinterest, and we have other things that they do. We have their PowerPoints, and there's over 250 of them, and so you can watch their collaborative boards, but their videos are actually under the board that says video storytelling. Okay, so you can find it under there, and you can see Animoto examples of that as well. Something that's fun and that you can do, and actually I learned this from a teacher in Argentina. She used to do this. Her name is Greta Sandler, and her 5th graders would do karaoke, and they loved it. And that's how they learned English too. Some of them was that they went, and every Friday they did karaoke, and then they would Skype schools, or now you can do Google Hangouts with schools, and they would share karaoke, and they would do karaoke competitions, and it was great because they could share holiday songs with each other. So in Argentina, they would say, you know, what are the songs? And they would teach them a song in Spanish, or teach them the popular songs that are even English songs that are very popular in Argentina. And then they would have this exchange. And then the other country, maybe China or maybe America or Canada or the UK or whatever language you're learning, then they share their holiday musics, and then they have a karaoke where they can sing, and they can, it's sort of like the lip dub concept as well, but they're studying the lyrics, and when they're studying the lyrics and memorizing them, they're also memorizing how to pronounce the words. They're studying the lyrics. And the great thing is if you do a karaoke, you can make it themed. So if you have, for example, if you're looking for specific vocabulary you want to teach, then look for songs that have that vocabulary within it. If you're teaching a science concept, a math concept, then look for songs that really embody that as well, you know. And so there's different things for example, there's the song Weird Science, so there's always something that you can come up with. Music isn't just for teaching words or anything like that, but music has a very long span and tradition, and there's a lot of different types of music out there that students can learn from. So here's some lyrics that really embody this kind of karaoke, and learning English. And so if you haven't heard of them, one of the most popular ones, of course, that teachers have, and unfortunately I do not have on here, is called lyrics training. And but when you download the slides, it will be there. So let me go ahead and share that with you. But lyrics training is a huge database of songs, and that's what students do. They actually can go on their own. They can self-study. So when they're outside of your classroom, then they're encouraged to keep the learning going. So imagine that kind of homework. So a lot of teachers say they don't like giving homework because it's not fun. But one of the options you can do is you can give them the Tune Into English, or you can give them, of course, this one, which is lyrics training. And this is fun type of homework, because the thing with language learning that I have found is it's necessary, whether you're teaching French or if you're teaching another different language. The only way that they're going to be able to really understand and know it is they have to practice it outside your classroom, and they have to practice it in different types of context. So a lot of students will love to go, and they would like to learn by music. So that's an option that you can give them. And usually what I do is I'll put links in a wiki that kind of and put songs that I think are really good, that embody whatever concept or grammar or subject that we're trying to teach for the day. So that's one. Now, if they want to learn through their device, there's actually ones for learning with karaoke. One is called Auto Tune Christmas. So Auto Tune Christmas is really great to learn, specifically since we're with the holidays, how to do this with, of course, Christmas themes and things like that. You can find a lot of different carols and things like that. Here's one. It's called, I put a short URL, but it has all the lyrics. It has, if you want to have someone who plays the piano in the background or can play the guitar or anything like that, then they actually have the music sheet. So if you are teaching music, then you can find it here as well. And I'm going to put that up. I put a short link for you, but it's, I'm sorry for the short link there. And then, so the great thing is, if you can do this traditional thing with the holidays, where your students will actually go and they'll be able to make something good. So maybe you decide to go to a nursing home, and you can get your students to have copies of the music. You can have somebody playing. Maybe they play, like I said, the violin, or they play background music, the saxophone, while others begin singing. So you can rehearse, you can explore the meaning behind these different carols. They can sing their modern carols. So if you got them in small groups, and each one of them went and they actually went into it and they modernized different carols, then that's really cool. That adds something a little cool, and they can even choreograph themselves doing the carols. So your students may really like that a lot. So they can invite the community. It could be a community thing where you have like maybe perhaps you have their parents and everything come, little children. They love to see little children, especially parents and the community in the school. And that's one way. If you do have an institution, like a language institute, or and you're trying to get people to come and really learn, and you can, if you open it to the community and you have and host events like that, that's a great way to get people to know, hey, we have a school here, and by the way, pick up some pamphlets or something for the school. So it's a great way to market as well, and you can have nice cookies, and it'll be a good thing. You can have it where it's classroom to classroom, so you can have where your older students, like high school students or adults, they'll learn the English because they have to sing the lyrics. So it's always great. One of the best ways that I ever got my students, my 2-year-olds to 10-year-olds to learn English when I was teaching in Germany is that they learn through songs. And I would even play the songs, the English songs in the background while they were coloring or drawing or doing handouts. And when they were doing that, they would sing it. So they would listen, and then I would they loved it. They just thought it was something that was really nice and very cool for them. And then I would put the lyrics, and I would put this in a wiki. You can actually find these. I'll give you an idea of what I mean by this, because I have still my wiki up. Now, it hasn't been up for a long time, but it's my English story time. And you'll see where it has different types of English chants and things. And the reason I did that in music videos, because my parents, when I was teaching in Germany, I asked them, I said, so what is it that you want to see in this? And, they were very shy with the technology, but one of the great things is that they were able to see, hey, we can access so many great resources here. And they even were able to access different lyrics and stuff. So you can also find a lot of different Christmas carols and songs to practice English. If you go to musical English lessons.org, they have it, and they even give you the vocabulary and everything like that. You can even do you can do digital caroling. How do we do digital caroling? Well, you can go and you can look at a voice thread, and you can invite the community to come, and other classes to come, and you can have or even around the world, and you can have a global carol-a-thon on VoiceThread. So there's a really good example. If you go to, I put these short links for you, so that way you're able to do this quite easily and get to them, because they tend to have very big links, and so you can see those examples. So there's a lot of holiday music apps. You can throw a holiday concert and things like that. And all you need is your device. You can do this on Android. You can do this on a Chromebook. You can do this. They have so many apps with pianos that just look up Christmas pianos on the App Store, the Google Play Store, on any of your devices. If you have a Windows device, you can look it up, and they have a virtual piano, I promise you, that you can play, and it's going to be free. And even if you put like Christmas one, they have one for babies, so you can even do this if you're like I was, and I was teaching 2-year-olds English. Then you can even have it for them, and it gives the lyrics, and it teaches them how to play. And it's really good for young learners, because at that point we have Pidget, and he says, they're developing, and Erickson as well. And what they're doing is they have to learn dexterity. And also it's TPR, total physical response. So while they're playing and learning the musical notes, which is always good, it trains the brain. They're also learning English at the same time, so they can associate the words with playing the piano. And that's very helpful, as total physical response teaches us. They can create a music score. So these are things, you can give them a show, you can give them a stop motion video, you can give them the plot of a story, you can show them a silent film, and then you can say, here, we're going to create a musical score for that. And there's some great apps and websites to do that together as a class. So I mentioned before, WeVideo is a really great tool. You can have that online on any device, and it's a way to do a collaborative video. They have a free one, but there's another one, and this one I actually learned recently from the store in the EduBlog Awards. So there's EduBlog Awards right now. You can vote, and in the past, American TESOL has been part of that, so we really appreciate it. This year, our slide shares are nominated for the slides that you can download. I can give you a link to that. Is actually nominated for an EduBlog Award, so we sincerely appreciate it. We think that's really, really awesome, and we thank you so much for that. So soundtrap.com is a way that you can do this. So if you're really into professional music and you say, I don't want to just make it to where it's a music, I want my students to be able to make a music score together. I want them to play their instruments because they're very good with instruments, and you teach music. Well, then soundtrap.com is what you want, and then they can create the music score. And you can do it even for a book. So let's say you're actually teaching a piece of literature. Like recently you saw that the Hunger Games and The Fault in Your Stars are pieces of literature that became big blockbusters. So you can tell your students, hey, they're thinking, and I always spin stories. They're not true, but my students know that, and I say, okay, we're gonna imagine that we're making the next big blockbuster movie of, and then we can say, I don't know, the Centipede, the Hungry Centipede, which is a great book for young kids. Or for teens, you can do one of the famous stories that they're reading, even from your reader, and you can say, what would be the music score? We need to make music for this particular scene. How would you make music for this scene? And then your students can go, and they can go to soundtrack.org and do it. They can even do it without being connected to the internet. It's really easy if you have the tools, GarageBand and Audacity. GarageBand is one of my favorite tools. It comes with a Mac. Audacity is a free download if you don't have a Mac. Audacity, the great thing about it is you can go, and on your iPad, you can get it for free. You can get iOS apps for free when they're usually $9.99. But you can search in the App Store, search for GarageBand. And on the App Store, if you do it through your iPad, I'm not sure if you can do it through your iPhone. It is absolutely cool. You can make podcasts, you can do music scores together, you can upload them, you can edit them, and it's so easy. It's really made so simple to do on the iPad. I almost prefer to do it more on the iPad or my on a device than I do on the actual MacBook, because it's so much easier. It's really cool. But another one that goes really well is Soundation. And when you go to Soundation, that's online. It's not an app or anything. But when you use Soundation, you can go through a Google Hangout. So if you're making a sound or a music, let's say you're modernizing the lyrics, or you're making a song for, the 12 Days of Christmas, and it's the newest one, you can do that at GarageBand or Soundation. Which one were you asking about? And I think it's Soundation. Well, you can find all of these in the Listly link. So I'll go ahead and put that again for the Listly. You might have to. The great thing is on Listly, they have a little search icon. So when you get on Listly, you can look for the name. And when you do it, then you'll be able to. GarageBand. GarageBand on the iPad is awesome. I really like it a lot. It's one of the best tools, and it's free. So you do have to look for it, because if you just do the app, then sometimes they'll say $9.99, but they'll give you a free version. It tells you, like, you get that for free if you're iOS. You have to go through your particular store, because if you do this online, then it's not going to give you the free one. But if you do it, it says $4.99, but if you do it on your device, if you look on your actual device, then that's what's going to be it. It's Garage Band, yeah, because it has to see that you're an iOS user. But Soundation, you do through a Google Hangout. You have a free app too. So you can either do Soundation online through the web, or you can do it through a Google Hangout. And it's so cool because you can do an international project where you're working together in groups, because Google Hangout has it where up to 10 people can be together and collaborate. And you just go to the App Store, and you click on the Google Hangouts, and you can choose Soundation, and then you can create music together, lyrics and sounds, and it's just brilliant. I think it's one of the best things out there. You can always post your musical scores for parents to download. Let's say you did a holiday music sound or carols or in different languages, and they remixed. Your students will like it too, because they love making music. They just think it's one of the coolest things ever. And so even if you're making a music video, when you make a music video, it's actually a lot easier if you edit and do the music separate, like in GarageBand or Soundation, and you do the actual filming of the video separate, because you can put them together. You can go to, for example, WeVideo, or you can go to something like YouTube, or you can go to something like if you have iMovie Maker, and you can add the audio with the video, so it makes it easier when you do it that way. I think it's the easiest way. So, but you can host this if it's just the music at a you can host it at a Podomatic. You can get free sounds. So if your students are looking for free music and things like that, freesound.org. And then finally, one of the really good tools out there too that I think is really good, you'll find that in the bookmarks too, is this Guess the Lyrics word cloud. And I think it's one of the best things to really teach like music and to teach English as well, is Guess the Lyrics. So it's Guess the Lyrics Wordle. And I think they have it for Hanukkah, they have it for the different Kwanzaa as well. So I just think that's really, really, really cool. And let me go ahead and find that if I can for you. There's actually quite a few of them. But if you do it, one of the good things is that they keep it going. And they're actually, this was an international project. So there's also, they did this from like many students around the world are the ones who did this. So you'll be able to find it that way. So they have a bunch of these if you actually look on Wordle, but they also have them in Tag Cloud and things like that. And it's a great way to learn music and culture and things like that. Some audio recording tools. You have bootguru.com. It's a great way to also send. So if they do this outside of class, they can send their music through bootguru.com. You can actually, it's really easy to do. They can either record it and then send it to you. If you want to get samples of students singing and things like that, it's the easiest way to record sound, or if they're just even doing a podcast. iPatio.com, it's a free way to host music and audio, and for parents to download. They can even they can subscribe, and they can, if you want to make this a continual thing. Audioboo is you get as many as you want, but the maximum is 10 minutes. But like I said, that's okay, because I mean, it's not like any songs are even more than that. And of course, you can find tons and tons of listening tools and audio tools if you go to teacheruboo.com and then you go to listening tools. So I'll go ahead and share that link with you. Of course, we have the Listly links as well, which is audio recording tools. And then you also have the Listly links for different audio recording tools, apps, and activities. And I've included sounds and songs with that as well. So thank you so much for coming. We want to wish you a happy holiday. Let me see if my little buddy is here. Come on, Rossi. Come here. Treat. You want a treat? He's of course gonna not be happy because his mother is tricking him and didn't actually give him a treat. And we want to say happy holidays to you. Here we go. Here he goes. Little Santa pup. And he's not wearing his Santa outfit, but thank you so much. And you can always get our book, Learning to Go, but you can connect to this on different types of places, Twitter and everything like that, Google Plus, Facebook, and Pearl Trees. Of course, we always have our things there. So thank you so much. I hope you have happy holidays and your students love these as well. Don't forget to, oh sorry, I meant to stop the recording and